Let's move on now to the New York Jets in our 2023 final free agency offseason review. But before we do that, if you have not already, subscribe to the channel, hit that like button, and ring that bell to get notified when we create new Jets content. As I said, this is the final series when it comes to free agency portion of the 2023 offseason. As after this, and we do all 32 teams, we're going to start pivoting to previewing the 2023 season, which means a lot more Jets content coming your way. So be sure to ring that bell and subscribe. It's the easiest way to help out the channel. So, Ryan, let's get into it here. The New York Jets were not talked about at all in the offseason. I think I've made that joke essentially every single time we've done the Jets because it has been nothing but, especially when it came to Aaron Rodgers, like not wanting to leave Green Bay, one of the teams, there are only so many teams where you could speculate where he could go, so to say. Mm-hmm. And there's the Jets and really the Raiders that are coming to my mind immediately. And the Jets right now, I feel the exact same way right now about the Jets as I did about the Denver Broncos last summer, around this time. Yeah. They have Russell Wilson. Look at this team. This defense is amazing. They have offensive weapons here. And I'm not saying that that's absolutely going to happen. I think we were all completely shocked. That was an outlier of what could happen here. But getting Aaron Rodgers on this team, though, just on paper, same as what it was like last year, on paper, I think they're a Super Bowl contending team. And they didn't lose too much on the defensive side. They brought in pieces to their offensive line. Couldn't have really gotten any worse. And so some of the guys that left, they were able to replace Wes Schweitzer as one of them. It's good just depth lineman. And then all the other offensive weapons that they brought in to kind of go along with Aaron Rodgers as well, to go with what's his name? Wilson. Breece Hall. Yeah. And, Garrett Wilson. Garrett Wilson and Breece Hall. But I think it makes for a fun, exciting season for the Jets and something to be very optimistic about.
Yeah, no, I mean, the addition of Aaron Rodgers is huge. And to me, you made the comparison to the Denver Broncos in 2022 versus 2023. And to me, the big difference is the fact that Aaron Rodgers has already won an MVP under Nathaniel Hackett, a Nathaniel Hackett-led offense, right?
Yeah.
And maybe they struck lightning in a bottle there, but sometimes lightning can strike twice. And we'll see if the Jets can do it. I have a feeling, and granted, in 99% of offenses were better than the Denver Broncos offense last year. It can't be worse than that. And the Jets offense last year was not very good. So that is one thing that I want to preface. But let's get into their roster right now. And I still think this offense has one really big weakness. And to me, it's that offensive line, right?
Yeah.
Mekhi Becton has been injured the last couple seasons. They really have struggled with the turnover of offensive linemen. Elijah Vera Tucker's been in and out of the lineup. Max Mitchell was a 4th-round pick last year. And while he showed some promise, I'm just not sure how good he can actually be. And to me, I think that's going to be the biggest limiting factor of this offense. Couple that with Breece Hall's coming off a ACL tear in, I think, week 9 of last season. And that'll be really interesting to see how he bounces back from that. It's not an Achilles injury where running backs are usually never the same. They never have that same explosiveness. But it still, I think, usually takes a full season to kind of like rehab and trust that knee again. And then he'll bounce back in 2024 and be what he was in the first half of 2023.
Yeah. It's that'll be something definitely to monitor as well. A kind of a sub story of just depending on how Aaron Rodgers does is how Breece Hall, because up until his injury, I mean, he could have been considered one of the better running backs in the league, he especially fantasy wise. Like statistically, he was doing extremely well, especially for a rookie. So you hate to see that injury, but you hope it doesn't hinder him. That being said, though, I think that they can have a running back by committee like approach. They still have Michael Carter there. Then they drafted the running back from Pittsburgh, Israel.
Canada.
Yep, absolutely. And so offensively, that like you're right. I think the big concern is just going to be that offensive line, and so they did address the offensive line a little bit, but not nearly as much as I think that they would have liked here. And let me pull up, actually, I don't have their draft class up. It's been a second, but I know they went with they didn't go offensive line in the first round. They went Will McDonald.
And they got Joe Tippmann in the second, but then didn't really address it. They got Carter Warren in the fourth, but I think if you look at what he did, he had a major injury in the middle of last season. And I think the same rule with Breece Hall kind of applies, where it's like, all right, he tore his ACL. I want to say he tore his ACL, but he had a major season-ending injury. I think this year is going to be more of a rehab year for him, and then he'll come in and potentially push for a starting role in 2024. So he has the traits to do it. He has that injury history. So that was really all they did to address the offensive line. They have a lot of names there, but I question the quality and their ability to stay healthy. So let's move on to the defense. And this was really kind of the highlight of the Jets last year. And Robert Quinn has really done a fantastic job of molding this defense and making it his own. And
do you mean Robert Saleh?
Robert Saleh. I'm thinking Dan Quinn.
No relation to Dan Quinn.
Robert Saleh has really done a good job making this defense into something elite. And what we saw in 2022 was extremely impressive, right? Quinnen Williams had a breakout year. They did a really good job rotating in edge rushers and creating pressure on the edge and letting Quinnen Williams eat up the quarterbacks who would step up in the pocket. And then on top of that, Sauce Gardner was already probably the best cornerback in the league last year. So I really like what they've done on this defense. The Will McDonald pick to me was interesting because I see the scheme fit, right? They want to run that 3-4 outside linebacker. You even heard it in Robert Saleh's conversation with Will McDonald when they picked him. He's like, we're not playing you over the center. He's like, we're going to put you on that wide 9 and let you go to work. Like, so I think this defense is going to be just as good, if not maybe slightly better, which is kind of scary to think about.
They did lose Sheldon Rankins in the free agency market, and then a couple of other kind of their key guys, Nathan Shepard as well. But you're right. But then they were able to then kind of replace some of that quality that they lost here. And the big thing then is with Quinnen Williams up front. I mean, that's the dude that it's come like Monday, like the offensive coordinator, offensive line coach is like, how can we game plan around this guy? And so everyone becomes better just because of how great Quinnen Williams is. And so the thing for me is when I look at the 2023 season for the Jets is there's not really it's been a very unique situation because they didn't make the playoffs last year, but then trading with Rodgers, giving a first round pick, knowing that Rodgers maybe only wants to play for 1-2 more years max. It's kind of feels like it's Super Bowl or bust. Are you getting kind of a similar vibe?
Yeah. I guess we'll just flip right over to the portion where we talk about what a successful season is for the Jets. And for me, it's they need to be a Super Bowl team this year. Because, I mean, you've got Rodgers this year. He's not guaranteed to come back in 2024, right?
Yeah.
And I would say more than likely he is definitely not coming back in 2025. And so that would be a very large reach for him. So I think this team is Super Bowl or bust this year. They don't have a first-round pick next year to invest in the quarterback position because next year's class is pretty good. They're also not even going to be picking – they're probably going to be picking in the mid-20s, in my opinion.
Well, depending on the they might not even have a first-round pick. So –
well, fair, but so. I just think, like, that pick will probably be somewhere in the mid-20s.
In the 20s,
Yeah, and – if it's not 32nd, I think that this is all their chips are on the table right now. So it's going to be really interesting to watch.
Yeah. It's because going back to kind of how I started the video today is when you look at the Broncos, it's like I feel very similar about how I do with the Broncos. Now, you do know, like Russell Wilson, is going to be there or could be there longer than what Rodgers will be.
Yeah.
We say that, but who knows if Russell Wilson keeps playing the way he did last year, he probably won't be there for much longer. Yeah. But the defense is solid. It's solid is actually downplaying how great this defense is, and they have the offensive weapons that they can throw to. It's just going to be very interesting to see how the offensive line, can they just be good enough to give Rodgers and all the skill position players time to really make this offense. They just need this offense to be average because, as you mentioned, Broncos are the worst offense last year. Jets were close to it, close to worse. Yeah. They just need to be average.
Yeah, exactly. And I think if you look at what Green Bay was, they were average last year. It was also not to any fault of Aaron Rodgers. So it's going to be really interesting to see what the Jets do in 2023. Let's go ahead and wrap up their offseason recap there. If you guys have not already, please go down below and like and subscribe and leave a comment on what your favorite offseason addition was. I mean, you can just go ahead, just type Aaron Rodgers down below. That's a pretty obvious one. But yeah, let us know down below. And other than that, we will see you guys next time.